Colleagues, Californians have mental health illness staring them in the face. It impacts 1 in every 5 individuals. It is reflected in a huge portion of our homeless population. It impacts families, sons and daughters with schizophrenia, bipolar disorders, and depression. Proposition 63 in 2004 by Senator Steinberg was a great first step, but it is not enough. From a personal journey, I supported Senate Bill 585 in 2013 to fund Laura's Law, and we authored Senate Bill 1273 to provide more psychiatric beds. And I'm joint authoring SB 1004 with Senator Wiener to increase prevention and early intervention. But SB 1363 will provide a voluntary contribution to fund crisis intervention teams, CITs, through the California Highway Patrol. It will aid in training law enforcement officers to assist and engage safely with persons living with a mental illness. The Franchise Tax Board estimates a de minimis cost of only $8,000 to the state, but this is maybe a high assumption. Contributions are redistributed. $1 going to CIT is one less going to another nonprofit organization, so maybe there is really no cost, but we should be able to make it up in administrative fees. Also, with the Federal Tax Reform Act passed in December, a lot of people will probably be changing how they do their contributions, so this would be a great opportunity. Mr. Chair, I bring this because in Fullerton 10 years ago, we had a schizophrenic homeless person who was actually killed at the hands of police officers who just weren't trained properly. In fact, he drowned in his own blood, and ironically, he was the son of a police officer. So we are stepping up in Orange County to contribute towards addressing mental illness and homelessness, and I think SB 1363 will give them an opportunity to contribute a portion of their California income tax refund on Form 540. And I'm honored to have Senator Portantino as a joint author and Senators Bell and Bates as co-authors. This is a cost-neutral way to assist our public safety officials and our families dealing with mental illness, and I encourage and I vote. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Witnesses in support.
Mr. Chairman, Brian Lundgren on behalf of the National Alliance of Mental Illness California. As Senator Morlock mentioned, the contributions to the CIT program will bring together law enforcement advocates of those living with a mental illness and those who suffer from this disease to work hand in hand. The cost of the state is minimal, but just as importantly, Mr. Chairman, members, it will also allow any Californian who may not be comfortable in outwardly addressing the issue of mental illness to quietly in their own way contribute to the program and help improve those who are living with this disease. And we request an I vote respectfully. Thank you.
Thank you. Additional witnesses in support. Witnesses in opposition. Finance.
Finance does not have a position on this measure, but the Franchise Tax Board estimates revenue losses of $8,000 annually beginning in 2019-20. The Franchise Tax Board and the California Highway Patrol state that this bill would not significantly impact their administrative costs.
Thank you. Comments or questions from committee? There's a motion by Vice Chair. This is a due pass recommendation to the Senate floor. Senator Morlock, would you like to close?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, for the opportunity.
Thank you. Secretary, please call the roll.
Laura?
Aye.
Laura, I. Bates? Aye. Bates, I. Bell? Aye. Bell, I. Bradford? Aye. Bradford, I. Hill? Aye. Hill, I. Nielsen? Wiener? Aye. Wiener, aye.
6-0. We're going to keep the roll open to allow our absent member to add on. Sure. Thank you, Senator Morlock.